Hello and welcome to the Garden of the Black Roses. This is fanfiction. Angelic Intentions, Arc 1, Chapter 6, Mission of Pain. Yugi faded into his own mind, like he always did when Gabriel did things like this to him. For some reason, he could never switch with Heba to force Michael to appear, but he could detach and pretend it wasn't happening. Yugi? He turned and looked at his twin standing in the hallway between their two souls. Heba looked past him to the cracks forming on the white walls of Yugi's soul room. Again? In front of Yami and Atemu too, Yugi replied softly. I had to retreat. I couldn't take the shocked looks on their faces any longer. Should I tell Michael? Heba asked. Heba had asked this so many times over the past 2 years that the answer didn't surprise him. The other seraphim won't believe us over another seraphim. Yugi shook his head. You know that already. Then what about Father? Yugi stared at Heba like as if he had grown 2 heads. We can't go near him until we come off probationary status. He trailed off and smiled. Prayers. Huh? Heba tilted his head curiously. What do you mean? Yami and Atemu, Yugi replied with a smile. Prayers to Ra will reach Father. The lights in Heba's eyes grew significantly brighter. Of course! He tapped his lip thoughtfully. We just have to think of a way to tell them that. The two thought long and hard. Yugi had felt someone shaking his body, and with a quick promise to return, he let himself become aware of his surroundings once more. Master Yugi! Isis was shaking him rather viciously. Please answer me. I hear you, Isis, Yugi murmured. His body felt sore and numb. I take it we're in heaven? No. Yugi was surprised. He was sure Gabriel would take him away once he had his fun. We're on Earth. Earth? Yugi opened his eyes and looked around. Where? Oh, thank Ra! Yami appeared, leaning over him. That seraphim was suddenly away, and we thought he had hurt you too badly. Hurt is an understatement, Yugi muttered. It's always like this. He paused. Heba wants to take over. He says my body is too fragile at the moment to move. Yami watched as the wings turned black and Heba sat up freely, like as if nothing had just happened. He looked around before bouncing into Atemu's arms and giving him a kiss. I don't understand how you could be hurt so badly by another angel and then switch and look like nothing has happened to you at all, Yami said with a curious tilt of his head. More to the point, how can a seraphim who is supposed to be your mentor do that to you? Heba raised his index finger. 1. Gabriel is Yugi's mentor, not mine. He raised another finger. And 2. Gabriel is right. He is allowed to punish as he sees fit. But Yugi and I have a way that you two can help. He heard a far-off sound of heralds' trumpets. Great. A summons. Yugi isn't physically up to answer a summons. He paused. No, you're not. Another pause, and Heba yelled, Don't argue with me. Gabriel just raped you. You're not up to answering a summons. He sighed. Fine. Give me a moment. We'll switch back. Yami and Atemu watched, slightly amused at the exchange between their hikaris, before Heba pulled out of Atemu's arms and stood between them. "You need to pray to Ra," Heba said quietly. "The only person who can stop what is happening to Yugi is Ra." The peal of the trumpet sounded again. "I hope you know what you're doing, Yugi." Wings turned to white once more, and Yugi collapsed to the ground, breathing hard. "If I don't answer the summons, Gabriel will have a reason to punish me more." A pause before Yugi's wings arced from his back in a raptorial fashion. "Not like I haven't hidden worse before." He stood shakily and gave Yami and Atemu each a pointed look. "Promise us you'll pray." He got back onto his feet unsteadily. "We will," Atemu said softly. "We won't allow Hikari to be hurt on our watch," Yami added, giving a small kiss. "Especially my Hikari." Yugi nodded. He spread his wings and flew out the door and away to answer the summons of the herald's trumpets. Yami and Atemu decided to start in that moment and pray to Ra. They sent their thoughts, memories, feelings, hopes, and dreams to him. They wanted their Hikaris back, and being the spirits who both saved the world multiple times over and sacrificed their afterlife to maintain the balance, they knew they were owed something. Little did they know their prayers would be answered. "The seraphim are becoming corrupt," Ra said to his council of gods. He held in his hand an orb that contained the memory of Yugi's rape. "To think that they can harm other angels and get away with it." "Without proof, we cannot punish," Ma'at replied, eyeing the orb. "That only allows us to punish Gabriel." "I'll speak to my sons and see what they can tell me." Ra squeezed the orb tightly. How could they harm our angel of peace and not expect punishment for his actions? "But why haven't your son approached you themselves?" Ma'at asked quietly. Ra handed her the orb so she could see the memory as well. "Or they can't." "I have a feeling they aren't aware that they can approach me," Ra sighed. He watched Ma'at's eyes widen in shock at the memory. "I told the seraphim that those four could come to me." He clenched his teeth in anger. "I will need to tell them myself." Ma'at handed the orb back and nodded grimly. "I will watch the four seraphim closely, particularly Gabriel." Yugi sat uncomfortably before the four seraphim, with Ryo and Malik on either side of him. His body felt like giving in to the pain and just passing out. The comforting support Ryo and Malik's hands rested on his were the only things stopping him. "Your new assignment for Dominion class promotion," Raphael said, handing a scroll to each of them. "Ra has given you tailored assignments based on your abilities." He gave a playful wink. He said he will judge this promotion, so be on your best behavior and work hard. Yugi tentatively opened his scroll and watched on the gold cursive as gold cursive made its way across the page. "My sons, before you leave on your mission, see me in my chambers. Show this scroll if you are stopped and you will be allowed passage. Your mission is to hunt and eliminate the demons of sorrow that plague each of the following humans on Earth: Joseph Wheeler, Tiana Gardner, Tristan Taylor, I wish you luck, and don't forget to keep your fae with you at all times. I will arrange accommodation for your stay on Earth." Yugi rolled up the scroll and, with a respectful nod to the four seraphim, made his way to the door and up the golden staircase that led to the realm of the gods. 2 Thrones-class angels barred his way with their swords. Yugi handed the scroll to one of them, whom nodded to the other, and they let him pass. Partway up the staircase, he could hear Gabriel call him. "Come back here, Yugi. You know probationary angels are not allowed up here. No, up there." He turned to the 2 Thrones-class angels who barred his way. "I am the Seraphim Gabriel. Let me pass." "It has been requested by Ra that only those with written permission may pass this day." The one whom read the scroll informed him. "He wishes not to be disturbed otherwise." Yugi continued on his way, satisfied that Gabriel could not follow or command him to return. His white wings darkened to Heba's black as he continued his ascent. "Rest, Yugi," Heba murmured. "Father won't mind if you do." And that's it. You probably could hear Discord towards the end of that. But yeah. Hopefully you enjoyed it. This story is not, I won't say discontinued, because I have been putting bits and pieces to it. But it is unfinished. So, yeah. I will probably be recording another fan fiction next. I will see. But yeah, as always, remember, let your imagination grow wild. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.